starts early. It works hard. It stays focused. It keeps moving. It stands ready. And it carries the weight. Strong coffee for a strong nation.
Welcome, everybody, back to Beyond the Possible, number 28. Trying to make sure everything is doing what it wants to do. Of course, everything's fighting with me. Technology. It's wonderful. Rumble is being Rumble. What's up, James? But how are you doing tonight?
I'm okay. And I hear you on the technology. Had a couple issues of my own last night with my own show. Poor
Very
Jen
cool.
had to leave a stage and come back to a stage, and that I had to make on the spot. So that was fun. But yeah, glad to be here. And as always, I'm looking forward to hearing from you and all the chat as well.
Oh, for sure. We are, here we go. We are live on Rumble. Just being a pain. For the ones that are watching the Rumble earlier and for my premium live stream I had going. I apologize. Uh, I was trying. I had a whole bunch of playlists on my Odyssey page channel, and then I find out Odyssey kind of quirky and doesn't work very well, and so it just stopping playing right in the middle of it
Oh,
and not come back. Like Rumble sometimes. Kind of like Rumble, but it just stops playing. So since I'm streaming off there, hell, Rumble just sitting there paused, just steadily streaming live for umpteen how many hours. Last night I think it did for 4 hours of nothing but the same thing. Today I think it did for an hour and a half of the same picture.
wow.
So if y'all are watching that, I apologize. I had to figure out something else. I uploaded like 60 videos on there for that purpose of doing what I was trying to do, and yeah,
Yeah, technology is fun.
yeah, it's great, wonderful. I hope that everybody in the chat's doing well today, and the lurkers, the ones that are lurking in the background, should have a fun show for today. Just some bouncing some ideas and some fun stuff I've seen and some stuff I heard. I was like, well, let me throw this ideas out there. But I seen a cool video. Um, it was who sent it to me? I forget. I had to look at my phone and see who sent it to me again. But it was possibly real, possibly not. But I've heard things like that's happened like that before on there and other places, so it doesn't surprise me. But they were above the Titanic crash site, and they could hear people screaming, and um,
Mm,
maybe it could be possible residual. Hopefully,
yeah.
yeah, such a traumatic event. A lot of residual energy right there.
Oh, yeah. And then you have all that moving water. Uh, we always think about how there's probably tragedy that's happened on just about every bit of land out there, or at least most of it. And I just wonder how true is that for a lot of the water out there. I mean, there's so much, and it's not like land where you can. It's gonna just stay like on the surface. Usually, objects are gonna go down even
Hmm.
easier than on land when they get buried or whatever. But um, all that energy again, all that metal as well. In a lot of a lot of cases with ships, especially the newer the ship, the more it's probably going to have in it. Electronics, and I mean, yes, it's underwater, so they're not going to work the way you'd want them to, but also the stuff is still there, and both electronics and water seem to be things that can be used and are manipulated by other presences.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know the creepy thing that I found. One of the creepy things I found about it was that the ship is actually, because of rusting and being in the water and the waves and everything, it's actually breaking to pieces slowly but surely. So it's actually making noises, making creaking noises. It's moving like it's an old house or something like that. Um, so it for sure it is making noises, making things happen down there. And like I said, it could be hopefully. Like I said, hopefully it's just like residual energy there from just a traumatic event with the water power and everything. But yeah, it's creepy, and you hear stories like that, before. What's up, Nostradamus? Appreciate you're here. So far, weekend pretty good. Got to spend time with my family, and uh, that's what's important. What about you, James? Nostradamus, that's how our weekend was.
Oh, it was okay. I mean, it was yesterday was fun. For anyone that listens now that is looking for something else to listen to, I was on Nights of the Storm. Uh, Talked with Karen mostly on the show, but got to talk a little bit with Ashley and Jason beforehand, a little bit off air. But that was a lot of fun, and looking forward to being there again. So did that yesterday during the day, and then got some rest, and then did my own show last night on my Discord server. And so yeah, it was a busy day, but walked over and got some food for dinner and stuff like that from a nearby pizza place because it's Little Caesars. They have that hot and ready pizza. And I tell you what, when you're like really low on funds and you need a few meals, get that and bread, and you know that'll work for a few meals. It's not great, depending on your location, but it'll work. But so yeah, I was pretty worn out. I went to bed at like 1 o'clock this morning, which is really rare for me. Usually it's more like 3 or 4.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I tried to hit the hey a little earlier. I was supposed to do, which I did do. I was supposed to get up a little earlier. I was supposed to do a little side job welding um, this morning, and I did, but um, I turned around and got there a little later, which it worked out. Like uh, it worked out pretty good because I got there at the same time with my parents, so I just had to drive a little faster. But that's all good. Yeah, I was up on. I was kind of late on. I went on. I was working on other stuff and everything, and late last night I popped in on Saturday Night Anarchy and talked on there for a few, and mostly I was listening. I was on there and I was working in the background, sitting there uploading videos to Odyssey where I could do my live stream I want to do, and then of course it messed up, but
Yeah.
it happens.
Oh yeah.
It happens. So, like I said, if anybody was trying to watch the two Storm Cloud Gathering marathon, I apologize. I'm gonna figure that out. Like I said, I downloaded 62 videos and then uploaded them, and somehow it says it's only 53 there, and I'm not sure what happened there.
Huh.
So I got to figure that one out too. But I
Yeah.
thought, hell, that's plenty. That's plenty of information and plenty of videos. I can do a good live stream and it can play all night. And I got up this morning and it was locked. It was kind of
Mm.
funny where it locked at. It was like, do not comply.
Eh,
That was what was on the screen this morning. Just do not comply. That was it. And that's what it stayed on for like 4 hours, I think. So that was great. Anybody popped in, it was like, hmm. Thanks,
yeah,
Nostradamus. Back at you. But yeah.
yeah, but that. Oh, and I wanted to mention too. I think might as well. I was talking to Ricky, and I realized for one of these shows, like maybe once a month as like a backup show, I'd be happy to read some of my true stories I found online that I've already used in my show here on this show, and talk about them with you all, and figure that'd be a good, fun thing to do here and there as needed.
Oh, for sure. That'd be cool. And then that would be good, on the other side of things, kind of, for people can see how, like, in a way, see how your show runs for the ones that hadn't seen your show or listened to, well, hadn't seen, I guess, listening to your show.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be a cool, fun thing to do for sure. Sometime soon.
yeah. I just figure it's what I'm used to doing already anyway, and so it's not, I'm not going to be doing extra research. I figured just go with what I already have, and and yeah. So anyway, but yeah, this water thing is fascinating. I'm sure Derek would have the Night Stalker would have some things to say about it as well. If you listen to go back and listen to Trouble Minds Radio, he talks about water here and there because it's that moving water does make energy, and you hear so often about paranormal activity happening on land, but near water, whether it's underground water or near the coast of a place. It's pretty common. But then on top of the water too, there's plenty of, I mean, ghost ship sightings. There's lights that are seen that come and go from the water. Now that could of course be UFOs or UAP, but if it's just a light, we can't know for sure that's not some kind of spiritual energy happening there, moving around. So it's a good topic, and I think we can go a lot of places with it.
Oh, for sure. You hear them stories around there too. Even when around the Titanic, there's stories of orbs. I've seen orbs, and of course the voices. And then of course we got the Titan down there now after it exploded. So now there's more spirits down there. It's a tragic situation, and but shouldn't have to be. And we won't get into the political side of it, but how how they got the reasonings why, and maybe it wasn't the Titanic that was actually down there. I think it's pretty well proven it's not the Titanic, but um,
Which makes that whole book that talked about a boat with a similar name to Titanic sinking even more fascinating. That there was a book that came out before the
mhm.
whole thing with the, again, Titanic, or in air quotes Titanic, however you want to look at that. So if it wasn't, the actual Titanic, but it still went down uh, in a way that is similar to what happened in a novel before that, that's still fascinating. It makes me wonder, as always, do people that write books sometimes get information somehow uh, when they're imagining things? Can imagination lead to sort of precognition or viewing other alternate realities? Or I always wonder about that when it comes to just creating things in general. How much of that is our own imagination, and how much is us picking up on things that have happened or will happen at some point?
Absolutely, absolutely. I just realized something. I never did even post nothing on Twitter. I normally have a big post on there for reminding everybody, and I didn't do it.
Well, that happens.
Uh,
That happens. I've forgotten and realized like 15 minutes before I'm gonna start. I'm like, oh man, I usually post on Discord and nope, until like right before.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like, oops, it happens. Like I said, we trying to do our best, and everything happens.
Yep. It's funny all this, talking about water and everything, and I've never actually been out in the water um, that I can remember anyway, unless I was really little with family. But uh, I've been close to it, and I think there is something. I don't know. There's something about the sound of water. And depending on what it's doing, it can cause different emotions and things like that when it's moving. When it's moving, uh, I do like the sound of water just hitting a shore just steadily. It's a relaxing sound.
Oh, absolutely. It is. I mean, it's. I try to do that. I try to go down every once in a while. If I got a lot of things going on, I'll go down to water, or I'll go down to the Mississippi River and walk it for a little bit, and just that the grandness of the water, the the never ending movement of the water. It's just steadily flowing, and it's pretty humbling. You know,
Yeah, yeah, it is.
so it's good to sit back and listen and be calm with it, and the that's what I always talk about. Like, it's good to get out in nature and get out and see if you're able to. If you're physically able to do that kind of thing, and well, we can kind of enjoy that side. And then we can release some of these technology and um, whatever else. It's I had this thing about that. I haven't been on a big boat in many years. I used to go tubing with a friend of mine, and his brother tried to kill me, of course, but it happens. We'll be on being him would be on the tube, and his brother would be swinging us, trying to throw us across the lake,
Oh,
across the
jeez.
river. Yeah, the tube be always sideways, just completely, and we're just holding on for dear life. And then he swing us back the other way, and it'd sit there and come all the way up on there, and yeah, it's fun. Then here we go. And then if I let go, he let go. It wasn't time. It wasn't long. The other one let go, and then he'd turn around and come pick us back up, and here we go
Wow.
again. But truly, I'd
That's
rather be on that float than it was in the boat. Really, I just when he's driving like that, I was like, let's put me back on the tube. I feel safer on the tube, swinging in the air.
it is amazing though the sound of the water and everything because there was a couple of years ago, a few years ago, my for her birthday, my mom wanted my sister and her husband and I to, and then my mom to all go and stay on a little cabin, like a rental cabin, um, just for like a weekend. And minimal, like they had like a TV you could hook up your laptop to or whatever, but like minimal internet, just good enough to put on music or TV barely. Uh, phone service, but basically still you're getting away from too many screens. Like that one you have is all you have unless you bring your own. And
Hmm.
just relax for a weekend. And it was this tiny cabin, and I asked my mom a bunch, my sister a bunch of questions like, okay, is there running water? Yes. Okay, good. Is there a bathroom inside the house? Yes. Okay, good. All right. Is there a lot of steps? No. All right. Okay. And there's power? Yes. All right. All right, then I'll go. Because I'm not a huge outdoors person, or like I don't because of my eyes, I don't travel really well alone. And
Hmm.
when in unfamiliar territory, I have to slow way down because I don't know where I'm at. And but so I wasn't crazy about the whole thing, but I did it for my mom. And but the nicest thing about that was it was literally right by the water, and I loved that sound while I was there. And it was more relaxing than I had expected it to be.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be able to get around and get on the water and just chill. Or get beside water and just sit down in a chair and just take in the moment and listen.
Yeah,
Um, and it is. It's something about it. And if for the ones that never have done it, I recommend at least getting out there once, because it's a nice experience. And the cool thing is, like, you can do it. Um, a lot of times you can do it for free and stuff like that. You can go to parks or something like that. You can do it for free.
yeah,
Take
yeah.
the time to get there. Or if you camping, like um, a lot of the campsites and stuff like that. It's not very expensive. When they bring a cabin, of course, it gets up there a little bit, but still, even them, some of there look not too bad. But if you're like camping, you can get a site for like $20, $30 and have, bathroom right across the yard there, whatever, within walking distance. And uh, like the ones that, that have full amenities and stuff like that, they'll have a bathroom with a shower and stuff. And so it's for like $30. I mean, you can't beat that for, to get a nice getaway or something like that.
And there's plenty of reports of people seeing apparitions and things like that on campgrounds and on the the walkways, like the paths or the basically the coast of like lakes, like just walking along the concrete along the side of a lake or whatever, or a river. And people have experiences. It's funny. I think I'll have to do a show on it at some point. But lighthouses as well. There's just so many lighthouses said to have paranormal activity going on in them. And I'm thinking of this because Jen and I talked about that. Jen, the Arcane Observer. You can check out my website and find links to her channel as well. But we were talking about the lighthouses and how they're just so active, and it's because I went to one once for a couple times for a paranormal investigation event kind of thing, and had a couple interesting things happen. That's one of those places where I had dreams about the place, like three different locations within the place or the area at three different times, and then went to all those places in the same night uh,
Hmm.
with people. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, but
Speaking,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, but yeah. So I think lighthouses, being so close to water and the whole purpose of the lighthouse and how rough it used to be to
Mhm.
live near or to operate a lighthouse and to keep it going can cause a lot of activity too.
Yeah, because sometimes that people uh, that passed away and people didn't know it because they're out there by themselves a lot of times, and stuff happens, and especially with the bad storms and stuff like that, it really does. It's just stuff happens and boom. But yeah, you do hear a lot of activity out of a lot of the lighthouses, and especially the ones that now you can visit, and museums and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I had that experience. Motion detectors going off and uh, the some of their like computer devices that would say words or names would say my first name here and there. So yeah, I do think you can have experiences. Nothing's guaranteed, but if you're looking for places to go to and see a lot of great history, but also just maybe have an experience that they're not a bad choice.
Yeah. What's up, John? Appreciate you being there on the YouTube side. Um, yeah, I'm surprised. I was sitting there thinking I probably was I just thought about it like the night I had I had a guy fighting boxing or MMA on a Friday night. Then I had some kids competing in a grappling tournament on Saturday, and it's one of them things. I'm like, man, if I can be there, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna do my
Right.
damnedest, And a couple times, stuff happens, life happens, but a lot of times I was there. So I drove 5 hours to the coast for after the fights, and we actually I slept in a lighthouse parking lot. We got there like
Ah.
4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and there was a lighthouse, and I pulled over there. It was right there by the event place, there in Biloxi, Mississippi, and then I was like, I just pulled in the parking lot, and I jumped in the back seat of my truck and laid down for a couple hours, and then one of the kids called me and was, hey, you're up, you're up, you're up. I'm like, yeah, I'm up, I'm here. Be there in a second.
Wow. Yeah. But yeah, and I haven't been like I said on the water, but been around it. I mean, Michigan, so you're always around water somewhere. You know, uh, for my entire life.
I bet. And I hate to hear that. I had Josh had a friend pass. No one found him for 4 days during the COVID days.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I heard. I I posted a video. Is probably one of the best. The best short I've had do in on Rumble so far, and was talking about check on your people and about all that, and one guy messaged me and made a comment on it. Was all kind of in a bad attitude and was talking about it. He was like, yeah, you know, I'm not doing that no more. Nobody checks on me,
mm,
and then I went out and checked on. I think it was, or it might be blending two together, but I know one was somebody would sit there and had to go out there and check on somebody, and they've been gone for like 10 days.
yeah.
What's up, Jason? The real Jason Barker. Ooh, bumper to bumper at I-95. Well, you got plenty of time, Nostradamus. You don't have to be in no hurry.
But yeah, some of these boats too. The bigger the ones like the Queen Mary and all that, and others, I'm sure they started out as one thing, like a cruise liner, and then were used in the military or as support for military, and then went back to being a regular civilian kind of boat. And but there's still so many reports of activity on them, um, even
Mm.
when they're docked, permanently docked. And you hear about that with battleships too, that are permanently docked that were battleships, literally military their entire time, and all kinds of reports come from those.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Queen's Mary and it is super super haunting. Because yeah, it was a military hospital for a little while, and then it started went back to making tours and being a cruise liner. Um, there's many people been in there and done investigations, and they found a lot of activity there. Anything about war and stuff like that. I know like the spot where the Pearl Harbor attack happened. They talk about you know hearing voices there, just kind of like the Titanic. You can hear voices and stuff, and
Right.
uh, because that ship's still on the bottom with the sailor still in it.
Yeah. And I mean, with the Titanic, you mentioned in the beginning how it's breaking apart. That's that could cause activity. You know, um, if hopefully, I mean, the spirits of the people that passed, they're already gone. But if they're not, and they're literally, as the saying goes, sleeping where they're where their remains are, and then things start shifting because eventually all objects made by people do eventually break down. Um, that could be, even if there wasn't things happening there at that site before, it could be why there's things possibly happening recently.
Mm. What's up, Scott Hollow? What's up, LJ? I know you're over here on YouTube, but say hi because you're on Rumble now. Jason C. spoke to a guy that served on the USS Midway during Vietnam the other day.
Oh wow.
He says
Yeah.
it's a museum carrier now, and he works on. He's gonna try to get him on. That'd be cool. Yeah, you're on YouTube. Well, you had you and some lurkers, I think, LJ. But yeah, the chat was quiet though, so you got to come over to the Rumble where the chat's on.
Yeah, you never know where chat's gonna be the most active.
Yeah,
Goes either way sometimes.
it does. Lucy, I would say Lucy Rumble has the lead of the averages, but sometimes YouTube is rocking just as hard, and you never know. Um, which I gotta reach back out my buddy. I got like I said, I got a special guest coming on soon. Gonna be fun. I think a week from Wednesday.
Okay.
Got to double check, but gonna be really good. Um, he just was on a real big podcast show, so I get to hear him on there. And I said, "Well, how you got to come on here?" And he said, "Yeah, I got to." And so it's gonna be fun. Like, one of my training partners I trained with for a long time, so it's gonna be fun.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, yeah, LJ, I know your real name.
But yeah, I mean those the battleships and everything, the ones used in the military. That's you see a lot of those on the different paranormal investigation shows or the different true ghost story kind of just storytelling shows. They come up a lot. Um, Even the Queen Mary. What's always amazing to me when I you hear about these places, but you only hear about them on TV at first. But then if you look around online and you start finding accounts from people that went there and they're just sharing what their experience on a post, to me that lends even more uh, lends even more to it possibly being something and not just sort of exaggerated by the TV networks. When you
Mm,
find just from random people posts about their experiences in these places.
absolutely, and like one is close to you, close to the Edmund Fitzgerald. Have you looked into it any?
I have not looked into it. I've heard about it over the years because yeah, just being from Michigan, um, I believe I've heard that people have seen like the ghost image of it. Unless I'm thinking of another one, but yeah, I haven't looked into that one, but I need to. I still need to do a show on just haunted like ghost ships that kind of thing. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, because there's so many. I mean, you could go for a while on
Yeah,
on the ghost ships and um,
yeah, haunted ships, all that stuff.
yeah, I got like a small little list of ships and stuff that kind of tie in the same, you know, those things they've seen. Like I said about the Titanic. Hearing them voices, which is especially. I mean, you wouldn't be in a small boat out there anyway, where it's at. But even if you're not on a small boat, and if you're in a boat, and all of a sudden you start hearing voices and people yell and stuff, man, that'd be eerie.
Yeah,
Your time to go.
that's almost as bad as you hear accounts of people that when they go into out on lakes, like just in a boat on a lake, or they go swimming in a lake, and then they get grabbed by like a hand from under the water. I've heard of accounts of that before too. More so with lakes. I don't think I've heard quite so many in the oceans. But that kind of makes sense in a way that if the lake is smaller, you know. Um, but I've heard of that as well. Just people seeing figures in or near the water and or being touched or grabbed by them as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I just did a quick search on Fitzgerald, and yeah, they've had incidences of other ships seeing, a phantom appearance. So it's like it's still trying to complete its run even
I
after
thought
all these
so.
years.
Yeah. Okay. It's always nice when thank you for looking
51,
that up because I thought I remembered that from somewhere.
yeah, almost 51 years ago now.
Well, then they say that when it comes to the paranormal, when you don't have a physical form, uh, time does not always work. It doesn't seem to work the same way.
Hmm.
Uh, and because we don't know how it works when we're not in the physical form, because we're in a physical form, uh, except maybe when you're dreaming, once in a while you hear about that weird experiences there, but then also you're in that sleep state, so you're not going to usually remember everything very clearly either once you wake up from that.
Oh, speaking of sleep state, um, I got another ship I want to pop up and sit there. And what's up, sweets? Glad you made it. I had a crazy, crazy. I was deep in sleep the other day, and I forget. I was somewhere. I was like in a warehouse with somebody and talking to somebody, and all of a sudden, the kids across the street started beating on my door. And when they did, I woke up here and just it's like I slammed into my damn body. I never had that happen ever in my life. And like I was in my chair. I was sitting here in this chair asleep, and I was arched all the way back. It's like I was
Wow.
arched back, and then bam, and hit the seat hard. And I'm like, what in the hell? And almost like I jumped up for a second and fell back or something. I don't know. It was weird. It was like I said, I've never had that happen before. Um, and I kind of took it like, well, maybe it's just because they startled me. But I know, like I said, I know I was like deep, deep sleep, deep dreaming because I've been working the hell out of myself, uh, working on this warehouse and then double time on gym or maybe 3 sessions in the gym trying to get ready for my match. And yeah, it's 'cause I guess I was extra tired that day. But yeah, that was weird. It's like like I actually did possibly astral project or
Right.
because like it when it I came back, it was absolutely like he's kind of like he's seen in like in a movie or something like that, where the body's kind of like uh, I don't know, it was just weird. Like I said, it was weird as hell.
Well, that's sort of what I wonder about when it comes to that one experience I had, that multiverse experience where I found myself in this house that my mom and my former stepdad, and my sister used to live in, and I used to live in, and I just showed up there, and I heard a sound like a thump. I didn't really feel it, but I heard like a sound, and all of a sudden I was there, and it must have been something that my mom in that universe and their son, which they didn't have a son here, but their little boy there heard because they came down the stairs. And it doesn't make sense, for them to come down, like rushing downstairs for no reason, unless they heard something, you know. So, I mean, did I like physically go there somehow? I mean, it almost, but not quite, makes me want to set up a camera in here and like point it at my bed and see if I ever just like vanish. Because I can't really rule that out, and it would not be the first time. I've heard of accounts like that. People do it in some cases. Maybe rare, but they do vanish when they're asleep and then show up again. And this is reported by other people who look for them, can't find them, and then they find them again, right where they were
Mm.
at.
Yeah, where they already looked before.
Yeah,
Yeah, you had to be careful videotaping because you never know what you
I
might find
know.
out things you don't want
That's
to
why
find
I
out.
haven't done it yet. I'm like, I want to, but I don't want to, and that the don't want to is just winning by a little tiny bit, but it's still in the lead.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I have like I joke about like, man, I ain't gonna do that, I ain't gonna do that. I mean, I have curiosity and stuff, I really do, and
Yeah,
and I have insanity moments of just um absolute insanity, but um like my brother recorded it. we I got a bottle, a huge bottle, like kind of like they did on MythBusters, and try to see like if you and I think it might have been acetylene, it might have been argon, I don't know. It was some kind of gas, big, heavy bottle, 6 foot tall, and I was like, well, I'm gonna see if there's anything in it. So I hooked it up to my I hooked it up to my torch. Well, the threads were messed up, and so it was pulling out. I was like, okay, well, I opened up the valve, and I said, well, nothing coming out. Well, maybe maybe the valve's messed up, whatever. And so I said, well, my brother was here because he'd been helping me. I was like, hang out a little longer. He said, help me grab that side of it. And we carried it over to the other side of my, and I had it where it was kind of pointing. It shouldn't have hit my cars if it did decide to take off. I don't know, but I took, so I took the damn thing and I set it there, and my brother got the hell way back, and I took an axe and started beating on the end of that damn thing and broke the valve off to see if there had anything in there. And I was like, either this is going to be really bad or it's going to be very anticlimactic. And it was very anticlimactic. So, but
well, that's okay.
I guess it's a good thing. All of a
Yeah,
sudden, I heard boom, and all of a sudden, this damn 250-pound bottle is going across my yard, tearing, knocking trees down and shit. Like, oh,
yeah, that would not be
whoopsie.
good.
Or just went through one of my cars or something.
It's like when the MythBusters, I remember hearing about they were doing some kind of test with cannonballs, and they actually shot one and it hit the side of someone's house. Like, whoops.
Yeah, I've been watching some. It pops up on my TV every once in a while. MythBusters pops up on YouTube, and my brother was talking about it, and I was like, it just all everything clicked. I was like, hell with it. Let's do it. Of course, I didn't
That
tell him
is a
exactly what I was gonna do, and he just kind of like, I'm like, here, just grab the end of that thing, like point that direction. And I walked up the hill and grabbed my axe, and he just shook his head. Oh, I said, well, that's either gonna go very good or very bad. And
But
yeah,
yeah, I
but
mean, with a camera, if you again bring it back to this, like that could go. It could be the same way. It could be you could record stuff and then record for a while and then like find nothing, or I mean, that's how some of those paranormal caught on tape or caught on video shows are. Like it's people that have security cameras or they set up cameras because there's activity, and then they see some crazy stuff,
hmm
and so I haven't done it yet. I don't think I will, but there's always in the back of my mind. It's like, man, you could find out if you go anywhere when you have those experiences. If you just set up, yeah, some kind of camera.
oh yeah,
But
for
no,
sure. What's up, Puff? Puff is in the house. Yeah, yeah. I still haven't got my spirit box from Ray, the Radical Truth. So she hasn't sent me nothing yet. So maybe she forgot, and that'd be good. That way, it won't be no temptation for me to do stupid crap that I don't need to be doing. Um, I
start
know.
getting EVPs on every single one of your shows.
Yeah, turn into a full ghost hunters show. Uh, can't imagine. Yeah, cause I still gotta. I haven't messed with my like after my GoPro freaked me out, and then I pulled it on there and it stopped, and I realized what had happened. I haven't touched it since. It's still plugged in my other computer. It's still sitting there. Just I'm like, nope, I'm not even touching this damn thing. Um, Blake was asking me, he's like, you charge the battery and see if that's what it was. I was like, man, I ain't touched the damn thing. I'm like, I mean, it could have been a defective. All of a sudden, this time the battery went defective. I don't know. But it's pretty wild. Within
I
5 minutes of the
I
of recording.
think yeah. I'm guessing like 99% sure that it'd be fine because you were near your family's, area, like the cemetery there. Uh, but I don't blame you also for not taking any chances either.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, like I said, it was just like, man, I'm gonna freak myself out. It's like that day, I've said it before on here, and so I'm gonna freak myself out today. And I guess I did. I
Yeah,
did freak
you did.
myself out, but not the way I thought it was gonna happen. Um, I never guessed that like I would have the battery draining thing happen, and like because it was just wild. Um, and I haven't been back since, so
Well, when you do go
I'll
back,
have
you
to
have
go
to take
back.
that same
Yep.
camera.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and take my GoPro, I guess, and stick it out there and turn it on and see what happens. And now, if it does it again, I don't know what to think.
Oh, but then you have to take it somewhere else and just use it at random to make sure it's not just a defective thing.
Well, that's normally what I would use that GoPro. Is like I don't even use it like and I was like recording a little bit here and there for um, stuff around here where I need to upload some of them videos and stuff where I was dragging trees and stuff like that. When I broke my truck in half, I probably need to upload that video. That'd be pretty good.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
that'll be on my other channel. Yeah, I do have another YouTube channel, but I don't post on there. But yeah, it was funny because you could see because it was mounted to the back of the truck. So when I was moving, you could see it like start pointing down and up. So it was swaying because the whole thing was just broken in half. The only thing saved it was the bed was holding it on. The frame was broken completely in two. I was
Wow.
like, nice, that's great. Good times, good times.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also weird when you think about water and like all those places, that's near. I mean, just think about like islands or really, really small islands or peninsulas or whatever. Makes me wonder. I mean, I've heard of islands having a lot of activity on them. Uh, One of the more famous ones, and it's one I haven't been to, but I'd love to go there someday, is Mackinac Island up here in Michigan. I'd like to go there someday because there's just like I've heard so many locations on that island are they have paranormal activity. They said to be haunted. Um, Not just like the big hotels, but just a lot of places there.
Hmm.
And I wouldn't mind checking that out someday.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back down there around. Um, a friend of mine was telling me about it. Like, there's some down there around Biloxi. I like going down to Biloxi. This is a nice area and stuff. And it's the closest place I can get. Like around Biloxi, that Gulf right there is the closest I can get to the ocean without little about 5 hours I can be at the ocean. But I turned around and he said there's some forts you had to ride a ferry out there. So I was like, well, I haven't been out there to that. I've been to Dolphin Island on and Alabama, which was pretty cool. This old fort. Um, but there's ones where you have to ride a boat out there. So I'm like, man, that'd be kind of cool. And have my GoPro and stuff like that. But now I'm kind of like, man, if I do take my GoPro out there, who knows?
Well, and I
But
mean, hate to tell you if you didn't already weren't already aware of this, you probably were, but a lot of forts, a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
old
yeah. That's
military
what I'm saying. Who
bases.
knows what I'll pick up when I go out there?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And then you have famous islands like Alcatraz and all that, and I mean they have prisons built on them
Hmm.
because why not take water, which can have all kinds of paranormal activity, and put a prison on there, which also can draw all kinds of paranormal activity, and be all set, all in one location.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, 'cause especially since nobody, other what like one person escaped Alcatraz. Even other than that, you know, just how violent the waters were and being able to get out. So yeah, just all the violence and stuff that happened inside there, and then just the water energy. I know some people probably don't believe in it, but it's one of them things where you have a coincidence so many times, and you got to ask that question, like, all right, it happens here, happens here, happens here, happens here,
Yeah.
because the one of the contributing factors you get all these different locations is there's water underground, under streams, or right next to raging water and stuff like that, and absolutely it's you know a powerful mix and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's so many. And it's not just like it doesn't matter what time period you're talking. I mean, there's been reports of ghost ships throughout since ships were moving around the water in any large scale. It
Hmm.
makes me wonder. I mean, we know that so much of the land on the planet has been explored, and then so much hasn't. I wonder what the ratio for that is on water. How much has been visited by people and how much hasn't.
I mean, on top is 1 point, but underneath, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a small percentage, like less than 10%. I think it is. Last I remember. Uh, let's see. Let's ask. Oh, how much of the ocean is undiscovered? More than 80%
wow.
remains unmapped, unobserved, and unexplored.
Yeah,
So who knows what is underneath some of this stuff? And I know, like when we were on Guam, there was an island that was formed right there. Had an earthquake, and boop, here comes an island. Of course, that happens the opposite direction. Have an earthquake,
yeah.
boom, there goes an island. Um, how many times that situation happened over the millennium makes you makes you wonder. And like I said, how much stuff is truly underneath there, and because they're always finding new creatures and stuff like that they never had no idea about. It's amazing though.
So that brings up a good question, and I have a reason for asking this, and I'll explain after. But what does everyone think about the whole idea of people, mermaids? Because it's a fascinating idea to me.
Yeah, I hear people talk about it, and mermaids and sirens and such, that, but truly they're not like um, what we think. They're not like a beautiful woman, and all of a sudden, they got flippers on the bottom. They're kind of they have a what I read and what people talk about it, like they have like a way of you know tricking kind of tricksters, kind of like a jinn or something like that, or like it's like a jinn of the water, kind of, or um, being able to manipulate somebody and make them think, oh, look at that, look at that woman or whatever, and it's not. Um, I imagine it. I mean, in some points, I mean, it could be possible. I mean, um, we hear about possible underground things. There's all kinds of stuff. There's all like I said, there's all kinds of creatures. We have no idea what in the world. So why not some hybrid hybrid creatures? They talked about them in Egypt, and they had the skeletons of like a lot of hybrid creatures and stuff. They
Hmm.
found. I don't know if
Okay.
you've seen that. Yeah, and what they've done with them, it was where a lot of people were like, well, they kind of dismiss it to a point, but there'll be, they'll have mummified remains of all kinds of. They mummified everything in Egypt, cats, everything, hippos, all kinds of creatures. But then there was some they found where there's creatures where they just absolutely it was like a mixture of different animals there. Like it had like pig bones and disc bones and all kind of stuff, and they smashed the hell out of them, like on purpose. Like to be the intent was to make sure like this creature didn't come back. Like we want this hippo to keep on coming. We want this cat to keep on coming. Whatever the hell this was, they didn't want no more part of it. So they smashed smashed the bones, and and they just like mass grade buried them in a box. So
Right.
now I wonder, is that part of like some ancient hybrid program? I know ancient aliens say yes, but
Yeah.
and we're not to get on that tangent of the ancient aliens or something like that. It don't have to be. I still think it's kind of like the Grand Hamcock. I think we overlook our ancestors. We think we're smarter because we have smartphones, which most sadly actually half the population is dumb as a box of rocks now because I think some of the technology we have because they don't have to go through everything. Um, you don't have to read stuff. They can have stuff read to them. They don't have to memorize all kinds of things. They can just go, oh, I don't have to memorize that. I just look it up real quick. I don't have to do quick math because I got a calculator in my phone in my pocket.
Right.
Um, so it has that technology has brought our levels and our IQs down for sure. I mean, it's you know they have the numbers. It don't look pretty at all. But how our ancient ancestors for sure were way smarter. 'Cause, I mean, we just look at some of the things they did. I mean, to this day, there's some of the stuff that we can't touch.
Yeah.
There's no way. What they did, what they used ropes and trees. I'm like, all right, how did they get up to there? Or what's the one? The one amazing one is like what's the damn something Medal or whatever, where it's they actually was built on coral and
Is it
they're
non-medal?
volcano.
Non-medal?
Yeah, Namadal, I think it is, and it's logs of 2 3 ton volcanic rock, and they stacked them on volcano. Like you're not rolling trees across the effing water. you
This is
know.
true.
So and suppose they didn't have pulleys, or they didn't have this, or this was beyond that technology. How in the blue hell did they do it? I think that's one amazing sights right there, just because of where it's at. You know, like Machu Picchu and stuff like that is absolutely breathtaking. But like Namadal is how in the blue hell because there's You throw out everything. Oh, you can reuse trees. For like even like a lot of places they talk about, well, you can use trees. They don't grow trees there, but this point is like it don't matter if you had trees or whatever. Are you rolling trees across the damn water? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, the reason I ask about mermaids is because I found a few accounts over the years of people that have had experiences, when they're near the coast of different places, and found posts about from people talking about seeing sort of like shadow figures, like giant shadow figures that appear to be just this mass of shadow that almost looks like it's wearing a dress, but not quite, going into and then coming out of the water. Uh, I even found a post one time that someone shared about they saw these I think it was like purple figures coming up halfway out of the water and going back down again, and just like coming out of the water and checking out this person as they were watching these things. And they had like glowing eyes. I forget what color the eyes were, but like a glowing eye that really stood out in the night and everything. And so even if we don't take the stereotypical mermaid in that shape, there's still things that people see out by the water that are in the water that you don't even get to see all of the figure, whatever it is, completely, that
Mm-hmm.
seem to be out there. And that's really fascinating to me. And that's, that's why to me, I don't rule out the possibility of some kind of some kind of being or creature in the water. And, whether you want to call that a mermaid or not, it it's still maybe close. And that to me is fascinating when it comes to what is out there. And, if and I mean, I can almost hear some skeptics saying, well, if anything like you're saying does exist out in the water, we would have found it. Well, okay, then find me Bigfoot. How are you doing on finding Bigfoot? To all the skeptics, like, where's that at? You know,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't, that has not been happened yet as far as like actually finding one that has been examined and, just scientifically accepted and all that. So if other beings on land can hide or vanish or reappear or whatever, then how do we know there can't be things in the water, beings in the water that can't do the same thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because there have been talks of it, like even like the Greeks and stuff like that, and I, like the other thing you can for sure like somebody is arguing with you on like, well, there's impossible, and like they just said, why have we found this? Well, 80% of the ocean's unmapped, and
Yeah,
so have you been everywhere in the ocean? No, there's 80%, 80%. That's a lot of damn water.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
a lot of water that's sitting there, and we have no idea absolute what is there.
yeah. I
And
just
again,
recently finished. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, and just and again, we're still finding things all the time, especially in the water. But even on land, we're finding new species of animals and stuff we didn't even know existed. Especially
Yeah,
deep in the like rainforest or something like that. There's species of animals that we have no idea what the hell it is, or we had no idea it was there.
yeah. Or things that we thought were extinct that turned out no, they're not quite extinct yet.
Oh yeah,
So
like yeah, it's been extinct for over 150 years, and all of a sudden one pops up and goes, "Hi, what's up, dudes? I'm
and I
here."
mean, and part of that is like the whole, you know, a certain group of people like from one region of the world will say, oh, this doesn't exist because we haven't seen it. But then you'll get people that live in the area that they're talking about, where this creature is supposed to be at, and those people will say, well, no, we see them all the time. We don't know what you're all talking about because they're here. you know. So it
Mm.
depends on you have to like really take into account and do your research on like when people say things in scientific journals or in news media, whatever. You really have to almost do a deep dive to find out well how do we know they're right? How do they know they're right?
Hmm.
So
Absolutely. What's up, Count? Um, James, maybe we heard this on. I hadn't heard him doing this. Puff said some of the paranormal hunters have been doing some weird stuff with headphones. They ask questions and see if the headphone guy answers without hearing from the spirit. He said one will like wear like gun range headphones, and another off in the corner asks random stuff, and supposedly the spirit could be heard through the earphone guy. It's a kind of sketch. It does sound kind of way that sounds. It does sound kind of sketchy. It does kind of sound like a very easily manipulated um, process. I could be wrong.
yeah, I don't know. I think I've heard of a version of this called the Estes method, um, where a person has a blindfold on and uh, a, a headset on, like you two were describing there, but the only audio they hear is being fed to them through a one of those ghost boxes, those the alternating shifting radio signal station devices,
Hmm.
and so the idea is that the person wearing the headset can't see because of the blindfold and can't hear outside of the headset because of the noise coming through it and because it's a noise canceling headset. And so the idea is that they can't hear the person asking the questions. And so whatever comes through, if it seems like it's a response, then you know that it's not um, the no one's being influenced. The person that's wearing the headset isn't being influenced or directly answering the questions consciously because they can't hear it. I don't know how true that is because you know, I've never tried it. I know people say it's really useful. I haven't heard a ton of as far as like people trying to debunk it or saying it doesn't work. So I can't
Hmm.
speak to that. But I have heard of that, and you do find that on paranormal investigation kind of shows or channels or whatever. And it seems like sometimes it's just random things. Other times it seems like there are answers. And I can't say for sure how accurate it is because we're not there.
Not for sure. I mean, that's one of the things that's kind of like it leaves it up to our imagination because we can't actually, um, you're not there for sure. But I wonder, because like some, it matters how good the headphones are. Because I mean, I know some
Right.
sound counts in the headphones you can still hear around them. You can hear.
Yes.
I mean, they do a good job, but you can still hear things. I mean, I could kind of see that maybe you could hear a little better. That way, it keeps the outside noises. They had a way, where they had the spirit box tied to where you could record it and the headphones same time. But
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, every noise canceling headphones I've ever used, um, like I can hear a little bit. I'm like, it's you can still hear what's around you. You can still whatever. Cause like hell, I leave mine like my Bluetooth headset. I leave it on noise canceling all the time, and I can hear people talking to me or whatever. I
Yeah.
always take my headphones off when I realize they're talking to me or whatever. But it's not to the point where I'm just like, dude, I can't hear nothing. All I hear is quietness. I mean, maybe I got some really badass ones that you can. Maybe so, but
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe you'd have to have that that spirit box or ghost box just blasting so loud, but then you're gonna hurt your ears, literally, physically,
Hmm.
if it's that loud to where you can't hear outside of it. I mean, I guess the only way maybe it would work is if the person that was asking the questions was like in a completely different room or on a completely different floor, but it then how does the spirit? I don't know. It's just like everything. It's there's a lot of questions to all this and how it works, and I think a lot of investigators will say, well, we don't know for sure how this works or that it does work, but we just try things out and see what does work and go from there. Um,
Hmm.
so I don't know that it's always. I highly doubt, like, obviously that everyone that tries this method is faking things,
Oh yeah,
obviously.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
Uh,
I also say I don't I don't want to sound like that. I'm just saying that it could
yeah,
be manipulated though.
right.
And then that's the big thing, you know, on the whole field of the paranormal stuff like that. You want to try to cut out any possible like debunking methods. Like, hey, just like Jason Hawes and them did with the ghost hunters at the beginning. Like, all right, let's figure out. All right, is it a vent? All of a sudden, the air conditioner came on, and that's what that noise was. Stuff like that. You want to eliminate all those possible variables, and then so you know for sure you have a credible information, and you have a credible, like, okay, now look, there's all these other variables are not possible. They're checked off. Boop, boop, boop. We still heard this sound. We still heard this voice. So we know that, hey, there was something, else here or something else going on. So, you know, because it is most people, are still going to question anything paranormal, and they're going to doubt it or, try to debunk it or anything like that. So you had to be like foolproof, like, you know, cut all the extra, not have people saying crazy stuff, like certain shows almost got in trouble for.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean the other thing too, and I always say this now because I think it's true, is that no amount of proof of really almost anything, but especially anything anomalous, is going to be enough proof or good enough proof for everyone. You know, I just don't ever see that happening. It's same thing with all this disclosure stuff. you know, I bet you if they were to suddenly put out a bunch of clear videos of whatever, craft or lights or whatever, it would still not be enough.
Hmm.
It's never going to be enough. I think the only way that I think that proof has to be an individual thing,
Hmm.
and proof has to come from experience, and then trying to figure out that experience, and ruling out what you can. But then also when you're done with that, still keep in mind maybe there's some things you couldn't rule out that might mean it was not paranormal, but also that still means it's anomalous. It still means it's unexplained.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it is. I mean, there's going to be certain people that unless a UFO lands in their lap, and and a little green guy jumps out, and drop kicks them upside the head, they will never believe it. Um, Not to get political though, but like there's still like even like all the stuff come out with Fauci and all this stuff, still people believe, the whole narrative of everything that happened with, 2020 and stuff. It's like no matter what proof, it's almost like, unless they just absolutely get slapped side of the head with it, the proof, and they won't. They just have that mindset of, there's no way they're and their heads, and a lot of them, their heads stuck in the sand. They don't want to believe it.
Yeah,
They have no goal of believing. Even if it's one of them things like if they don't believe the sky is blue, and and they say it's green, no matter what you do, like, hey, here's a color wheel. I mean, what is that color wheel on, and what's the it don't matter. Like, if that's the hill they want to die on, and say, because that they just don't want to believe an alternative thought process, no matter what it is. So, you know, hopefully more and more people come around to it. But yeah, there's always going to be the doubters and the haters, and unless an alien jumps in their lap, or um, unless Slimer slimes them,
Yeah.
they're just going to absolutely be doubting the whole thing. What's up, Jen?
Hello, Jen, and also hello everyone in chat. But yeah, and even with the example you just gave, that hypothetical situation, alien craft lands on someone's lap, the little green man jumps out, kicks him in the side of the head. They're gonna sit back up and go, "That's a robot." You know,
Yeah,
someone spent a lot of money to make that robot that was able to do this. That's just a robot, even if it really is an alien.
yeah. I'm getting pranked. That's all it
Yeah,
is. I'm getting pranked. They won't. Like I said, no matter what. Like, even then, you're right. Even then, they might never even believe. Um, and it's one of them things. It is what it is. You
yeah,
know, all the all we can do is just put out information. Run with it. You know, and as I always said, like, especially on my show, if you hear me say something, go back and fact check me and go to look at it, research it. And that's like, to me, that's my goal. Is um, is for people to just get out and do your own research and look into things and go, oh, wait a minute, what is he
yeah,
talking about? Is he right? Is he wrong? I don't know. But they can start digging and start going down a little rabbit hole, and then jump on and off in the rabbit Grand Canyon, eventually. But if we start looking, and asking them questions, because that's the main thing, is we need to be able to ask questions and say, hey, this don't seem right. This is good. This is bad. Um, but I do think more people do need to be open to possibilities outside their mind, and what they actually uh, think is possible.
yeah. More people need to realize that anything is possible.
As they say, as they say.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think for people that have had experiences, and myself included, I know it can be frustrating when you come across someone that just does not is not open to any of this. And my response to that is okay, that's fine, as long as that person is not disrespectful towards people that have had experiences that that can't be explained. That is one of my biggest triggers. Is you don't want to if you don't want to believe, okay, that's fine. If you don't think that this is possible, that's fine. But you know, if you're gonna try to tell me that all these things I've experienced, and all these things people have been experiencing throughout time can't be real, are not real, and we're just imagining things or making things up, all of us, every single person, that's a good way to get me upset. And I don't get upset about too much, but that is one of those things now, and it's something that we need to work on too, and just let them be, but then also keep on putting out information like you said, and talking about experiences, and maybe eventually they will hear something that clicks with them, or if they don't, that's okay too. But there needs to be respect and empathy for people that go through what they experience.
No, absolutely. And it's a hard lesson. It's a hard thing for some, for some people to do, to humble themselves, and say, okay, look, I don't know everything. Um, and there's certain things outside my scope, and some people it's hard for them to grasp that, and accept that situation. You know, and even if you're a very smart individual, that don't mean you you might have a high IQ, but you have no common sense. Okay, so certain situations you will not do best in. So you're not perfect. So you look at, for sure, look at, try more and more. And I think more and more people are getting more open minded and stuff. It's some are still stuck in a dogma of, and I think some of it is like a double edged sword too, like especially with the aliens or the paranormal. You know, we see so many movies and TV shows and stuff like that. So when people have hear situations of of sightings or whatever, that's their number one. Well, that was just oh, you're just quoting a TV show, or you're just watching. That was a movie. That wasn't real. It can't be real. That's just TV. And so they throw it all in that one box, and sadly, for their mind and for their sake is the world is a lot more amazing place, and there's a lot of people has had some amazing situations and stuff happen to them. So I can't knock them. Don't
Yeah,
don't knock
and
it till you try it.
and I mean, part of what's so amazing is if let's say if again, not that I mean to be like speaking out to like towards skeptics just because of them being that way, but it's amazing how if you hear about one example of an experience, you maybe think, well, that was one experience. But then one of the things I've noticed is if you look at enough experiences, you'll start finding patterns in things, and and sometimes there'll be patterns, and there'll be two patterns that contradict each other, and yet people are still having the experiences. Uh, and so that's one of the most amazing things, and sort of one of the reasons why I like doing this is finding all these patterns and seeing what and how they change over time, and because it's just there's so many, as I always say, there's experiences that people are posting about every day online, every single day. You can go online to different places. Reddit is a good place to go for that. Funny enough, and you'll find posts from people every day. There'll be at least a new post talking about an experience on at least one forum somewhere.
Absolutely. But tread lightly on Reddit. There's a lot of crazy,
Well, and that's the
crazy
thing.
stuff.
It's great for for the finding the experiences and learning about that. But yeah, it's I don't go anywhere else on it. Like I'm not interested in all the flame wars and all the whatever else goes on. Just yeah, no, no, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. You can start some of the stuff they just sit there and argue for
Yes.
for days.
Oh, the comments. I mean, like I don't even read the comments in the posts that the posts I do share in my show anymore. I don't even read the comments anymore because half the time it does devolve into that,
Hmm.
and I'm not gonna do it.
No, no. It
But
is hey, this is what happened. This is what this person's seen, and
yeah,
and go with that. And say, all right. Um, some things that seem beyond the possible. I don't know how I did that little segue, but
yeah, nice. Not,
it's
not just one show title in the show, but two in the same show. That's a new record. Nicely
it
done.
is. Yeah. I mean, we truly, but that we're looking at. Um, uh, I lost my train.
My fault. Sorry,
No, no,
couldn't
it
help
wasn't
it.
you. It
I
was
was just
me. It popped in my head, but the whole thing. But I mean, yeah, if you're looking into things that are truly beyond the possibilities, the beyond the the norm. You know, truly anything is possible in that realm, and so you have these stories, and just because you haven't sensed that or felt that, some of them's like it's probably a good thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Certain people can handle it better than others. Uh, you know, and, and I know as I've gotten older, is like certain things that happen. If it happened to me, 20 years ago, I would have ran around chicken my head cut off. Or but later on, I'm sitting here and like sitting in my old house and hearing stuff bang around in the kitchen. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, and it ain't the cats, and ain't nobody else here. Huh. All right, hang out and whatever, find you something to eat, I guess, whatever, and just turn the TV up. And there was a time I would have freaked out, and um, so, but there's certain certain things, and like certain um, you know stories like adoption and stuff like that. I hope nobody, most people don't want to have that situation happen.
Yeah. That's
Um,
another thing that gets me is all the jokes about that. You know how or people even saying like I want to be I'd like to be abducted. I'd like to find out what it's like. And I'm just like no, no you don't. I understand you think you do, but you don't. But
it's
you know
all in jest. Yeah, because you never know what the situation going to come back on the other end.
yeah.
You hear about encounters like like on both ends. I heard about a guy encountering a phasing in and out entity, and he spoke telepathically with that entity. I have to find that story and maybe share it one day. And he turned around and he was, it was kind of like he was asking like, what could he do? And he kind of like, hey, I don't hear very well. I think it was, or his glasses, and I think it was glasses. And he
Yeah, I think
turned
it was.
around and it was his glasses. And he turned around and the next morning he woke up and he put his glasses on. And he said, I really don't, man, that's too strong. He put his glasses back down. He went, um, got him some breakfast and looked down and was reading the menu. And people were like, hey, where's your glasses at? I was like, I don't need them anymore. And he went to the doctor and he had 20/20 vision all of a sudden. Or he turned around the other side and like James told his story where, he went, had a situation happen and his vision went southward. You
Yeah,
never, it's a toss up. You never know what's going to happen.
pain every day. Not to
Yeah.
you know talk too much about it or complain too much, but it's literally every day, all day.
You need to go one of the Stephen Greer's retreats where he has it, and maybe one of those entities will help you out. This costs you what, $1,500, $2,000 to go hang out with Doctor Stephen Greer.
And that's just the fee that he's charging, not counting whatever you're gonna spend to get there and back and
Oh
food
yeah,
and uh,
yeah. I don't
yeah.
know what it is. To be honest, I'm just throwing numbers out there. I bet it is up there though.
I've heard thousands. I've heard like a few thousand before. Again, just as just random things I've heard online. So who knows? I'm not saying I know exactly what it is, but yeah. And that's another thing too is like I always say, whenever I hear the narratives from the big figures out there that you know talking about what aliens are like, well, they're all good. No, I, based on everything I've heard and read, talked to enough people, no. Oh, they're all bad. Well, also no. That's another one of those things that I always have to struggle to be uh, patient with and try to explain that. Look into some experiences. You'll find both. You'll find neutral ones. You'll find just encounters where nothing really happens, and it's just, uh, you know, that's all it is. It's just an encounter, and even the abduction where there's no pain, but there's no help, but there's just this experience, and then you're done. It's over. So, uh,
Hmm.
So yeah.
I looked it up, James.
Okay.
So you know you can start counting your pennies and get ready. The official CE5 contact app you can cost $9.99.
Ah.
Digital training materials, class training sets can be purchased from the store with digital sets typically priced around $18.90. His official expeditions and workshops per person from 1,000 to 2,500 plus per person, excluding travel and accommodations. So
Oh, is that all it is?
that's all. So 2,500 plus travel. You know, it's a swing big. You know, you won't have some souvenirs. You know, 5 G's all you need. So we'll
Okay.
start a GoFundMe.
Okay.
James goes to CU5. Need
Now
5 G's.
listen here. Listen for a second here, though. I went to a Paracon for one night, day and a half. I was gone, and I came back home with vertigo that lasted for a week,
Hmm.
and I probably only spent like $500 total. Uh, I don't think I can do it physically or financially.
Just a week in the desert with Dr. Stephen Greer. No big deal.
All that wonderful sunlight. I'm sure it'll help me so much.
Well, you know, a lot of times they're at night, you know, before they can actually see the UFOs
True.
and stuff. So they're out there at night running around.
Yeah.
Though he could be a lizard man himself. So who knows?
Yeah.
Possibly. I'm not accusing him of that, but I have heard other people say that they thought he might be reptilian. That's how he knows so much.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Probably from some of the same places you have.
Yeah, probably
Uh,
so.
but I don't know. Do you think I should tell my abduction experience again? I mean, just for any new listeners, if there's anyone there, because I don't know.
Yeah, I
I've
mean
done
you
it a
can,
lot.
James. We got let's see what time it is. We got about 25 minutes before Mr. Strange goes on, which tonight for our Rumble listeners will be teleporting you over to Trouble Minds. And they will be talking about from sun gods to star visitors, new gods of the old sun.
That's that sun again. Everything's about the sun.
Yeah, that
That
damn sun.
evil light generator and heat generator. I tell you. No, I'm kidding. Uh, so, and it's funny because this ties directly into what I'm going to talk about here. In a way. So, about 13, 14 years ago now, uh, I fell asleep one night. At the time, I was sleeping on a couch, very comfortable couch I had out here in my living room, and I was using it as my bed. And I fell asleep. It was already dark out. I don't know what time it was. And I woke up, felt like I woke up, but I couldn't move my body except for my head a little bit. And but I woke up because I was not on the couch anymore. The couch had very nice, soft cushions and everything, and woke up because I was on this hard, flat surface, and looked around as well as I could. I was in a room with dark blue walls, which my walls are not dark; they're fairly light, and they had these cabinets built into these walls, like white cabinets with electronics in them, and there were these three gray blurs, not gray like gray humanoid shapes like you hear about, but just blurs, literally. Uh, Shorter, but not tiny, but just shorter blurs moving around this table that I was on, and uh, and I couldn't move except for my head a little bit, and the ceiling above me was all light. It was either the lights were so bright that all I could see was the light, or it was just one solid light for the ceiling. Um, and I was trying to move and I couldn't. And I heard my parents' voices off to one side telling me that everything was okay. But they had no emotion in their voices. And so I was able to look off to the side just a little bit, and I saw two more of these gray blurs. It was literally like just a column of blurry gray. I don't even know if it would be, you call it like light or mist or whatever, but just gray. Just the color gray. And I just knew that was, those voices were coming from them, and they were using them to try to get me to relax. And I could see when I looked back up again this something coming down from the ceiling, and it was like a robotic extension arm kind of thing. And eventually, it kept on getting closer and closer to me as I was trying to move, unable to move. And eventually, it got close enough where I could see that it had a needle at the end of it. And eventually, it got down as I was more and more frantically trying to move, and it touched my left eye. And of course, I panicked and shouted out. I don't think I shouted out here because I never heard anything about it. No complaints from neighbors or anything like that. But I shouted out and then blacked out and then woke up back here again. Uh, and did not go back to sleep at all for the rest of that morning or that night. And it wasn't until years later, talking with friends online, when I was telling them about the problems I had been having with my eyes, and we were talking about just anomalous experiences, and I told them all this, and they asked me when the experience happened, and they realized, and then I realized that I had this possible alien abduction experience just before my eyes started getting worse. And what happened was I started getting light sensitivity that I never had before, and eye strain that I never had before. I used to be able to read uh, regular books with special glasses, and for hours. I mean, I used to be able to read regular books. I spent a lot of time reading a lot of Stephen King books um, before I ever thought about doing the podcast. I wish I had thought of doing the podcast earlier, so I could have started researching and getting physical copies of books that were on the topic. Uh, but that's not how things went. But and so this light sensitivity and eye strain is just slowly getting worse over time, and it leads to just like I said, pain in my eyes, like any kind of using them, having them open, the strain and then the light just hurts. Uh, and it started off very minor, but over time it's gotten worse. So I wear a blindfold now a lot when I'm just listening to things, and just to give my eyes a break. And it's affecting my sleep as well because when I wake up, uh, as soon as I wake up, it's when I start bugging me, and it's hard to get back to sleep sometimes. So yeah, these abduction experiences, whatever they are, you know, they're and this is just one example. Like I've never heard of this situation exactly. I've heard of others that were terrible as well, but not like this either. So I don't know what to make of it all. But yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, it's a wild, wild situation for sure, and scary to think about. What could have, what did happen.
Yeah, and where is it going to stop? I mean, is it always going to keep on getting worse?
Hmm.
And then where is it going to? I mean, am I going to have to just literally stop doing much of anything at some point, someday, and you know, just sit with a blindfold on all day? Like, I'm not looking forward to that. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but it seems like it's a possibility.
Then it's time, James, to go ahead and go full daredevil mask and go ahead and start fighting crime. It'll be time.
Oh yes, because I'm so physically fit and I know all these fighting skills. Yeah, you're right, Ricky. You're right.
It's time, before it gets there, you start training, and by the time it happens, you'll be ready.
I would anyone that tried to train me I would feel so bad for them. They'd hear nothing but complaints the whole time. Complaints and ow, that hurts. Just uh, no amount of pay would be enough to for anyone to do that to put up with that from me.
Mm.
I would not wish that my worst enemy. So, but yeah, but it is what it is, and I deal with it, and but yeah, so it's these things, they're just like anything. There's positive and negative, and all these things, you know, going on at the same time, and all these subjects, and that's why I don't take any of this lightly, and I yeah, that's why I'm interested in it because of how many people seem to have similar experiences.
Hmm. Yeah, it's one of them things. The more you look into stuff, and you go, well, you know, and truly, I'm like, I'm the only one. Here's, and when people feel like, outside or something like that, and realize there's a lot, you're not alone. There's lots of people who's had lots of similar situations happen over the years. Um, so one of the big things is we make sure you're not alone. There's others. You know, might be hard. Some situations gonna be hard to find somebody else. But I don't mean
Right.
it's not there,
Yeah.
and that you shouldn't look. You know, and then maybe with finding others with that similar situation, it can help you, you know, gain some hope that maybe this situation get better or just you know or your life situations gets better. Who knows?
Yeah. Even
Well,
knowing that you're not alone is still just even that factor alone is amazing. Uh, I mean, I've experienced that over the years here and there. Even with the weird multiverse out of body dream experiences, for a long time I thought uh, this is weird. I've never heard of this before. And then come to find out, someone I know, you know, talking on their show, talking with you on this show, and we're like, wow, huh, similar experiences.
hmm yeah, it makes you for sure make you not feel like okay, I'm not by myself, and I'm not you know not like I said, not and that's a big thing. And people think they're alone and they're isolated and they have no they they it's easier for them to fall in that trap of not having any hope and
Yeah,
no guidance or whatever. But when you can find people that's had similar situations, or you don't have to be exact, but it'd be similar situations happen, or just or you find people that's open to talk about, like with the troubled minds and the family that that there is, like and the shows are attached to it. So many people are open to talk about, you know, people ask me about this, sometimes, well, do you believe that? I'm like, uh, some things I don't believe. I mean, I'm not going to talk about it on here or have somebody come on here and talk about it. I
right.
mean, maybe I don't have the understanding I need at that moment to be able to believe in it, or, maybe I'll never believe in it. But it's okay. It's still good to talk about things and have communication and dialogue, and that's truly, that's the key. Believe in my heart and soul that's the key for humanity to for they able to come together, being able to have a dialogue and talk with each other about situations, and not get angry, oh, or just start throwing names and stuff like that. You can do it in a joking way, not saying, some people like to just say silly stuff and they're going to be, that's one thing. But, when there's ill intent in your words, we don't always need that. Sometimes you got to be firm with some people on
Yep.
certain situations. You got to be firm as hell because that's how that person, needs to be able to see, okay, this is what's going on. There's a situation going on. But being able to open dialogue and talk with people and bounce ideas, especially like this stuff, this paranormal or aliens or um, Egyptian pyramids or anything else we have. We should be able to dialogue and talk and not bicker and fight. I think it's
Oh
possible.
yeah. I mean, that's why I'm always so firm when Ricky says I should use a Ouija board or this. It's like, no, Ricky. No means no. I don't.
Go in that demon house right there, James. See what's going on.
Yeah,
Look around for
that's
me.
that's
Poke
why I
around
say
the stick.
no. I
Try
mean,
that
you gotta
stick
do that
there.
sometimes.
Yeah, because we are saw earlier. I'm kind of not right in the head sometimes. I get excited sometimes and try not to hit us off with cylinders and stuff and see if we can shoot them across the yard or not. And so, I get excited. I want to see what's going to happen, but I don't want it to happen to me. But I just.
Yeah, just send the guy that's already sensitive into a house that's got all
Yeah,
kinds of negative stuff happening. It'll be fine. I'm sure Ricky thinks I'll be fine.
yeah, yeah. Paranormal experts do well in them situations.
Man. For the record, anyone that doesn't know me, I will never say I am a paranormal expert. That is all
Well,
friends.
when you listen to Trouble Minds, you hear somebody else say the same thing. So
Yes.
multiple people say it, it must be true. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been outnumbered long ago already. Even before Ricky, I was outnumbered already. Had other friends calling me that. So, but yeah. But no, I mean that part of what I do, why I do finding all those posts about people's experiences is to do that, is to share them, and just in case that one post about an experience, that one experience does give that or take away that sense of being alone from someone, does make them realize that their experience is not completely unique. And what I love about doing that as well is sometimes I'll find posts that where it'll be an experience, and I'll say on the show, "Wow, I've never heard of that." But then weeks or months or years later, I'll find another post, and I'll say, "Oh my gosh, this is a lot like that post." And then I have two similar experiences, and
Hmm.
you know, and, and it's an amazing thing. It's a fun thing to have to be part of that and share that. But what I always like to say too is anyone can do that. Anyone can go online and find all these posts. They're not hidden. I'm not accessing something that is, you know, inaccessible to others.
James is on
Uh,
the dark web looking up ghost
yeah,
stories.
yeah. No, I don't even know how to access the dark web. I've only heard of it. I don't even know. But yeah, so that's part of why I love doing what I do, and I think it's you know once you find what you're okay at, like you're decent at doing, and if it helps people and you can do it, then that's a great feeling when you whatever it is you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you're able to affect people in a positive way, or just giving them, you know, opportunity to talk, or just hear similar things. It really is. So it's important. Everybody, it's one of them things. Um, I'll say this for sure before we start talking, endings and stuff. But never, never underestimate the the power of what one person can do. One person can motivate people. We've seen it over through history. Like one person can motivate people to do terrible things. One person can turn around and motivate others to do amazing things. Um, like I said, my favorite one to say about is, is like, like Billy Graham. You took Billy Graham, and one person preached to him and gave him the gospel, and then he turned around and took it to millions of people. So it's always that one of them situations where, hey, look, you might be the path, you might be the guiding light to somebody else, and they'll take it and run with it, and so try to be try to be positive like you can be, um, and know that there's people that are good, there's people listening, there's people that will help others. Still a lot of good people out there. They just got their walls up and protecting themselves because they've been hammered and hurt through the years, but they're still
Yeah,
there and still willing to reach out when they need to.
yeah, and that's another reason why I take everything I do uh, so seriously, because yeah, it's not just paranormal TV shows and movies that are out there for fun. Uh, yeah, you gotta have some fun, but also the way they portray it to be in a lot of cases is it's fun as in goofy and funny and silly and not real. And
Mm,
you know, obviously that's not the case in a lot of experiences.
no, but I see. Like for over years they've done with like the aliens. They turn around and just hi, all the news report, mainstream, and all of a sudden now they got and like every day. Oh my God, this is is this real? Is this really happening? Is these abductions real? Is this you know hybrid breeding programs real? And this is stuff that people have talked about for years and years and years, and um, just because again, I think another thing is keep your head up. Especially if you're going, if you got a lot of naysayers or whatever that don't believe in what you're doing or saying, you know, just be patient because there's gonna be somebody along the way. Uh, you know, kind of like you got like David Icke. David Icke said some wild stuff and a lot of stuff, but some of the stuff he said back in the day, 30 years ago, when he got demonized for some of the stuff he said then is coming around, and now the mainstream saying the same things he was saying. Um, not all of it, and it's folks like that, that sometimes it takes a long time, but keep your head up, keep on keeping on.
Yeah, and keep when you if you can and when you find people that are interested in what you're talking about, especially when it comes to these experiences you have, and if you're able to keep talking about them. Yes, you're going to repeat yourself. I mean, I did it here tonight. You're going to repeat yourself over and over and over again every time you meet new people. But you never know how that's going to have a positive effect on those people when you
Mm-hmm.
meet them, as you meet them. And so it is worth it, even though it may seem you may think like a lot of times I think about this. It's like, oh my gosh, people have heard me talk about this again and again. But I have to remind myself that you never know who's listening that is not aware of me, or is not aware of you or this show or whatever, and has just found it somehow. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's important to keep on talking about these things and going over the same stuff. And then sometimes doing that, you'll come up with new thoughts and new ideas on the things, even though you had the experience 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Absolutely. I mean, I know, like I've had, I've talked about things that happened with me and said it several times on here, and and then turn around and then I'm like, yeah, well, I'll bring up a hint about that situation, and but I won't do anything. I won't say, well, I'll talk about this a bunch of times, and then all of a sudden the chat will blow up. Well, what are you talking about? I don't remember that. Hey,
Right.
I wasn't there for it. Tell it again, so that you're right. Because you never know who's listening. You never know, um, and not just in the wild stream of live stream and stuff like that. Like even in your personal space and people you interact with every day, you never know who's actually sitting back and listening. Some people, people lurk in real life and they
Yeah.
observe and they listen. And then all of a sudden one day, like, hey, by the way, I remember you was talking about this and this and this, and that really touched me, and then they'll open up.
Yeah.
So, what we're talking about for sure is not just live streaming or internet or anything like that. For sure, is anything we're talking about right now. Truly, I do believe deep down is, you know, and it's just, in real life and personal, you never know who's listening. You never know who's interacting. Um, you never know what you're going to say is affect somebody. It's like the story I told a bunch of times with a little kid. I didn't. I went up to my mom's library just talking and and I hadn't bring up. My mom said something about me doing what I do, and so he was sitting there asking me questions and all that, and I answered his questions, and I did, and just talked to him. I talked to, I didn't belittle him. I didn't look down on him,
Right.
and then find out later he started doing martial arts too, and I think to this day he still is. So a chance interaction with somebody put them on a different path. It's pretty neat. What's up, Merlin? What's up, Charlie Rose? We're about to be calling. I'm waiting on the. It is about to. Go ahead, James. Tell everybody. Do your spiel. Is that what it's called, or what are?
Yes, it's
Tell
something like
tell
that.
tell the people who don't know who and how to find you and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So my name is James Salcedo. I do a podcast called Salcedo Paranormal. Also, along with Jen, the Arcane Observer, in the chat there on YouTube. Uh, and on Saturdays, she joins me. Once in a while, other days as well. But and we cover all things paranormal, anomalous, and I do I just do basically I find experiences that people have posted about online and share those, and I do a couple other different series. You can find all the episodes of the show, and along with links to social media and ways to listen and support the show and friends of the show on my website, and that is salcidoparanormal.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.com, and I go from there. And there's many hours of content for you to listen to there. So if you're looking for something new to check out, or if you've heard me talk before on about the show but haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, there's your reminder. And because always happy to have new listeners and get new experiences.
No, for sure, for sure. And yeah, make sure you like and subscribe and check out the links if you forget. And if you're coming back later and you're like, how did he say that? James's link is down in the description, but plus a bunch of many others. Um, and like I said before, if you want to be part of the links of some of the friends of the show and stuff like that, and eventually I'm going to do a website, kind of like Trouble Minds did. And I think James got on his, showing some links and stuff for our friends. Eventually, I'm gonna do that. So, like I said, make sure y'all hit the bell, hit the like. I appreciate y'all for always being here and y'all coming back. We're gonna have a good time for sure. And like I said, Wednesday we're gonna have another great show. I'm sure. Um, I think the following Wednesday I will have a special guest. It's gonna y'all will enjoy. You know, I think some of y'all will enjoy for sure what he'll be talking about and his way he talks and everything. Y'all, I think y'all really enjoy it. And so make sure y'all. I won't drop the cat out of the bag yet, but I guarantee for the ones that keep coming back listeners, that y'all will enjoy that show. So, like I said, I appreciate y'all, and let me hit this music, and I do some teleporting and all that good fun stuff too at the same time. And much love, peace, and chicken grease, and y'all be good.
Shackles, don't want no shackles on me. Don't want no shackles, don't want no shackles on me. I sat down with Big Brother, don't like those RFIDs. Got the blues about my freedom. Got the blues about tyranny. I got the blues about my freedom. Got the blues about tyranny. I sat down with Big Brother and the national ID. Don't want a chip in my wallet, chip in my car. And if I want to travel, it's nobody's business how far. Don't want no shackles. Don't want no shackles on me. I said shame on Big Brother, always tracking and tracing me. Don't want a chip in my mother, chip in my wife, a chip in my babies. Stay out of our life. Don't want no shackles. Don't want no shackles on me. I sat down with Big Brother. No more slavery. Play it for me, baby. Now, do you want a chip in your forehead, a chip in your arm, always tweaking your brain and causing you harm? Don't want no shackles. Don't want no shackles on me. I sat down with Big Brother in the good old USA. I sat down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother. Don't want a spy chip in me. Everybody, I sat down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother, down with Big Brother, down eternity.